So last month my 16-year-old son came out to us as gay. My husband and I both grew up in religious households, but when we had children, I never wanted to force anything onto them. But my husband disagreed and wanted to force religion onto our children. We argued a lot about it, as he wanted to take our kids out of school and homeschool them via Bible and scriptures, but a threat of divorce has put that insanity to a stop. Still, he pushes religion onto them in subtle ways. My son had been so nervous for a while before he came out to us, especially his father, and he begged us to take him out to a restaurant alone, without his siblings. He looked desperate, so we both agreed and my mother babysat for us. We arrived and I just had a feeling I knew what he was going to say. And when the food arrived, he finally said it, "Mum, Dad, I'm gay." I held his hand and told him that I loved him, we both did, and he will always be our son. From hindsight, I now realize my husband was being unusually quiet, but at the time I was so elated and my son looked so relieved. When we got back home that evening, my husband went straight upstairs. I assumed he went to the bathroom, but when he came down, he had a suitcase. He grabbed my son and dragged him along with the suitcase, out of the house, still yelling at him. He started calling him the F word, telling him he is going to jail and so on. Our son started crying on the driveway. I ran after them, of course. My husband called him names, and pushed him onto the driveway. He basically threw my son out. I was mad. I had no legitimate reason that my husband would react this way. I knew he was still deeply religious. But this is his son, for crying out loud. I was so mad, I stood between them and told my husband to respect his son for who he is. Now, he's never been a violent man, but for the first time in the 17 years we've been married, I saw him as violent. He barged past me and laid hands on our son. I was so angry, I threatened to call the police if he didn't leave right now. He left the house angrily and drove away. He has been staying with his brother since. I love my husband and my son, I want them both to be happy, but my son is 16. He can't live without his parents' help, my husband can. I chose my son over my husband. The moment he laid hands on my son, he lost all my respect. I don't think I could ever look at him the same way. Now my son blames himself for me being upset with his father. I keep telling him it's not his fault, but it doesn't help that whenever their father does come home, he poisons our other children's minds to think it is their older brother's fault. I just want my family to be peaceful again, but my husband is refusing to talk to me for as long as I defend my son. Last week, he suggested a divorce. I love my husband so much, but if he doesn't accept my son and apologize for hurting him, I don't think I could stay married to him.